describe what it was like to, you look up, you're down 13-4, I believe it was, and then you just really turn on the defense. And, you get a 6-point lead at half on a game you were down 13-4 is pretty impressive.
Yeah, we brought it in together when we were down 13-4, and we just gave up about some threes off pure just miscommunication. So we brought it in together. We the only way our defense was going to get better is we start communicating this stuff out and keep our defense tight. So everybody came out with the intensity, and then Trey Clark provided a spark for us to just make them so uncomfortable offensively. And it just, eventually we knew shots would fall if we kept running the right offense, getting the right shots. And next thing you know, we hit our first three right before the half ends with Clay, so that's a big shot. So everybody just went into the locker room just saying defense, 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 and just the way Trey impacted that game. So.
I thought you had two of the bigger buckets of the game because you had the elbow three right there in the second half. I think they cut it to 4, and that made it a 7-point game. And then off the timeout where you were just one-on-one against I believe it was Baptiste, I'm not sure, but you just kind of took it to the basket. Looked a lot similar to what you were doing against them in the first game. You talk about just it seems like you really like this matchup and play well in both of them. Just talk about that.
It's kind of funny, like you think about it when me and Trey come in at the same time. Trey kind of brings the defensive spark when we need it, and I just try to bring the offensive spark because just try to work to our strengths. And I seen that we were struggling offensively, and it definitely starts on the defensive end first, but we needed some points because we only had 4 in the first 5 or 6 minutes. So I just tried to get the offense going because I know that coming in, since I had a good game last time, that they're probably going to try to focus in on me. So I was trying to make sure I just created for others or create for myself and just see what the game would give me and be in attack mode because that's just what our coaches allow us all to do. So that was just my thought process.
You knew this was going to be a tough game. They're a really improved team this year, especially, and you knew from playing the game up there, you knew it was going to be tough today. You win a game where you hit 3 threes, and your guys like Clay and Alice and Jordan, they combined to hit 3 shots. Does that just give y'all another layer of confidence? Just when you know you can win different ways, but when you go out and do get a win in a different way, and I would call this a different win for you guys today. What does that do for you guys' confidence?
It helps it a lot. Our coaches tell us championship teams, they find a way to win no matter what. So today, offense wasn't going, so I had to rely more on defense, and we had one of probably the best defensive performance of SoCon play at least, because they're a really good offensive team, really getting the paint, and they really spray out for threes. So for us to find a way to win without outscoring them, that does a lot for us.
This for Mike. You mentioned Trey a minute ago. Look at his line. He had 6 points, 9 rebounds, 3 steals, and I guess a couple of assists. Just talk about the impact he really had on that game today. Things weren't going.
He's a big impact, especially lately. He's just been playing really well, and it starts in practice. He brings the energy in practice, no matter what group he's in, on the first team or second team. He's always bringing a great spark, and that's just something we've come to rely on, and the coaches rely on. That's why his minutes have jumped up even more, and we all know he could have been playing more, but he just didn't complain. He just stayed working, and then now nobody wants to deal with him, even though when his matchup usually doesn't score when he's guarding them. So we just rely on him to lock down whoever we put him on. And another stat that not on the stat sheet, but he had 10 deflections, and that's one thing we preach big time here. So he probably had a third or probably a bigger portion of our deflections, and that is huge for our team. We need those to win. So yeah, Trey's is huge right now.
Noah, this is the second Saturday game at Timmons this year, the first one with students, and it seemed like it was quite the atmosphere, and could you guys kind of feel that today? It just seems like you hadn't played in this building a whole lot, especially on the weekend. Can you kind of feel that energy today?
Yeah, Saturdays bring a different feeling to the game in general. Playing in Timmons feels different. We feel like we're the best team no matter who comes in here. But today, just seeing all the support from the community and the school, that was just amazing to see. Just knowing that this whole community and school is behind us. So, you know, we love Saturday games.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great game, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. First of all, credit Chattanooga. What a ball game! Just an absolute war out there. Two teams. I thought they just played with an incredible toughness on the defensive end of the floor, and I thought both teams played incredibly hard. So, it was wild. You'd think you were getting a shootout, number 1 versus number 2 offense in the league, and then you come and you get a defensive, just absolute battle. So. That's two teams that wanted to win, and fortunate for us, just like we've done so many times this year, we just find a way to scrap it out late. And wasn't our prettiest game of the year by any stretch. I do think it might have been one of our best defensive performances all year, though, in terms of just, take away some ridiculous fouls that I think we got to be a little bit more disciplined in. But, in terms of limiting post catches that are deep, and then also, for the most part, doing a pretty good job on their shooters. Now, they did miss some open ones, as did we. I think both sides missed their fair share of open threes. But, I thought we did a pretty good job there. Villa's been playing great and really put a lot of emphasis on him in the game plan. And I thought our bigs did a great job. 14 from Noah, 13 from Slauson. Mike was tremendous, but again, TC might have been the most impactful player tonight. Now, they all were in a lot of ways, but, we're down 13-4. Take the timeout. We've given 3 threes up that are just ridiculous, and 2 off of weak side communications that are easy situations, and then 1 with 1 second on the shot clock that we just don't contest. And I thought when we subbed, Mike ignited us offensively because his ability to get the ball in the paint and to make plays off the penetration, and then Trey ignited us defensively just with his grit and his toughness. And so proud of both of those guys. And, Jordan and Clay, they'll be fine. It just wasn't their night from the perimeter. And we know they're both great players, and they're going to bounce back. They still played hard. And, even Alex. Alex didn't have quite the production offensively that he's been having lately, but he still battled. And I don't think we hold a team to 53 points. That's the number 1 offense in the league had we not battled.
Coach, you called the timeout after that third 3. It was 13-4. You guys scored 20-5 over the last 13 and a half minutes of the half. What kind of clicked there? Was it pretty much Bothwell and Clark create the spark?
I thought it was both of them. I thought Trey on the defensive end, but even Trey did some things offensively through his cutting, and then Mike just bringing some presence offensively. They pack the paint in. They've got good size. They got good length. You got to be able to get in the paint, and then you got to be able to make the plays out. And or you got to be able to go in there at the rim, and you got to be able to finish. Mike comes in and gets the lob to Slauson over the top, which is there, and then he gets down the line and gets fouled to his left hand. So, quickly he comes in there and makes an impact on the offensive end of just being willing to read the ball screen and not let them just drop plug it. And, I thought he did a good job. They started doing some more hedging late. I thought they really turned their pressure up, and they did a good job getting after some ball screens. But, Trey 9 rebounds, 10 deflections. We have 5 steals total. He has 3 of them. He had some great cuts. He had that great little drive, shot that little teardrop and made it. I just thought that he was really locked in. And this game is a game of small margins. It really is. Like you can't – our team never does not want to win, and I don't think they're ever out there not playing good, but we've got it to be where we want to be. We got to always be playing great. And for us, that's through communication, through connection on the defensive end of the floor, pressuring, with active gaps, and the 2 mistakes, the weak side threes right in front of our bench, just no excuse for either of those plays.
I thought one of the areas tonight maybe that I thought stuck out to me that maybe you guys were the best at you've been all year was off of like timeouts and bringing the ball in and getting some buckets off of timeouts. There was the pick and roll where you got the foul, I guess, for Slauson, and then there was also the one where Bothwell, you called the timeout, and then it was at a point they were making a run a little bit. I think they cut it to 4 or something, and you get the bucket right there. Just talk about, we talked about the one against VMI. Just talk about what you thought about the plays off timeouts.
Yeah, the timeout just gives you a few seconds to think about it and figure out what do you think that you have an advantage on offensively that you can try to attack. And so we dialed up a play that we hadn't run in a while, and it's something that we rep a decent amount. And we thought we were going to get one of the 2 options available to us, and Mike had a great read. They opened up their hips a little bit, off the slip, and he drove it and got in there and got the bucket. So, it just gives you a second to huddle, think of how you want to attack it, and that's why we try to be efficient with our timeouts. So when we need them, we can use them. And that was a huge play, a huge timeout. You don't score there, they cut it to 2. You got some game pressure on you. I thought that 6 was a good margin there, and that was a big play by Mike.
People know about the scores on this. The thing that's been so interesting to see, you never know who's going to be the steps up offensively, but it's not just that the routes you guys take to wins. Tonight you make 3 threes. And I think people on the outside looking in think, well, Furman lives about 3 times, about 3 threes. You probably got it. But you, but just even the style of play can be different, and you can find a way to win. Is that just with every win and the different way you do it, does that just give everybody a boost of confidence?
I think that's what you see in championship level teams, that you gotta figure it out, right? And you're not always gonna go out there and hit every shot, right? You're not always gonna go out there with great rhythm on offense. We have been playing with great rhythm on offense, but every team is a different matchup. It's just so much of this is more matchup driven than people realize. It's not just team A playing against team B. What's the size? What's the length? What's the defensive game plan? How do they cover ball screens? How are they off the ball? What are they doing half court, full court? All matchups are different. And so for us, we have a lot of versatility with our top 7. Colin, I thought, gave us some good minutes. We've been trying to get him consistently at 8th. Tonight we won a game on the defensive end of the floor. And I think what you see out of a mature team is we didn't let 3 for 18 or whatever it was affect the intensity that we were guarding at. And I thought that's growth, right? And that's where this team's locked in, because, we all know that. We make 3 threes, that makes us feel pretty vulnerable. If you'd have told me that this morning, hey, you're going to make 3 threes tonight, I wouldn't have necessarily had a great feeling in my stomach, just because that's a big part of what we do. But for us to have the character and the toughness to be able to just make the gritty plays necessary to win the game on the defensive end of the floor, that's what you see out of great teams.
The second part of that, I'm sorry, John. The second part of that I wanted to build on was, and down the stretch, you played without somebody who's been vitally important to you the past 3 or 4 weeks in Trey Clark. So you win the game without his services too. That's got to be another layer of winning without a key component. Yeah,
it's just always one of those situations where, as a basketball program, we want to be complete. We don't want to be known as an offensive team. We don't want to be known as a defensive team. We want to have a complete team. And to be complete, to win a championship, to continue to win, you have to be complete. And tonight I think we're going to watch the tape and we're going to see that we could have been a lot cleaner offensively. I think that we had a lot of possessions that we just gave away, whether it be quick, tough shots that really weren't A-quality shots for us, whether it be sloppy turnovers. We've got to make sure we're sharper. But that's how practice was yesterday. Our defensive segment was lights out. It was unbelievable. And offensively, we weren't very good. We turned it over. We were choppy. We were taking early, tough shots. And I thought that kind of dripped into the game today, and we got to make sure we're better there.
I thought Chattanooga's defense on Jordan Lyons was exceptional today. But to his credit, I think he came down, the stretch and made a big layup there, a big bucket where, it was a play that he kind of had to be physical on and use his experience and maturity to get a bucket right there. Just talk about his leadership today when things weren't going, his way. He picked up those 3 fouls early in the second half.
Yeah, it was tough. It's one of those situations where, nobody's just going to make every shot. And I thought Jordan, though, tonight, he and I had a couple conversations on the bench. I thought he did a good job staying with it. I really did. I thought he knew that, hey, let's just go figure out a way to get this win. And, he dealt with some adversity. Heck, I thought he had 4 fouls, so I subbed him out. Byron, the official, obviously thought he had 4 fouls because he came over and told me he fouled out, and then they say it's 4. So then I'm wondering, did we have to take him out earlier with 4? That's all stuff that you don't think about, but sometimes that can impact a player, right? Of just and then all of a sudden you miss your first couple looks, and then it feels like it's getting tough. But to his credit, I thought he continued to lead, and I thought you could see multiple moments where he did a great job pulling our team together. I could hear him in timeouts. That's all I'm asking him to do, right? Lead the team, go out there and play as hard as you can. Let's do what we got to go do to win the game. And again, you tell me, hey, you're gonna hold Clay to 5 and you're gonna hold Jordan to 6, and they're gonna go 3 for 12 from the floor. As the other team, you probably feel good about getting that win. But we have other players, and we've got other really good players, and we got some guys we've got 7 starters. I mean, that's really the situation we're in. And not just team A, team B, like legit 7 guys that deserve an opportunity to start and deserve starter minutes. And that's what you saw tonight. You saw Jalen Slauson and Nola Gurley step up, right? And we hear about it, how big they are, right? Our two post players have 27 points, okay? And then Mike Bothwell steps up, right? He has 12 points. And then Trey Clark does what we've already talked about. So even when maybe Alex, Clay, Jordan don't have the offensive night that they're accustomed to, that we're accustomed to, we've still got the character and we've still got the talent and the players to be able to step up, get stops, and figure out what we have to go do to win a game versus a very, very good ball club.
The first immediate timeout, you had 3 turnovers, and you had one more the rest of the half, the first half. As you came back and took the lead on halftime, even when stuff is not falling and you're not getting good looks, the importance of taking care of the ball, even and all that, you're not forcing it and turning over more. Obviously, that was a huge thing tonight. Yeah,
I mean, I hate that we lost. We try to take a lot of pride in winning the points off turnover category, and getting stops and getting out and running. 8-4 tonight advantaged them. But yeah, you can't listen. If you want to win and you want to be good offensively, there's 2 things you got to make sure you don't do. You can't turn the ball over, and you can't take bad shots. And the second you start doing those 2 things, you're not going to be a very good offensive basketball team. And you've just got to make sure that there's going to be some turnovers in the game. You want them to be off aggression. You want them to be off of 2-foot plays. You want it to be off of passes to hit cutters that maybe get deflected or something like that. You don't want it to be sloppy, right? You don't want it to be something that really the defense didn't even necessarily pressure you into. It was just something where it was out of character. And we had a couple tonight. I mean, we call West Virginia and we fumble the handoff. I mean, we just give it to them, and we got a great play dialed up, and we just fumble the handoff. So, there's multiple plays that come back to me that I just felt like were empty possessions. And but we only finished with 11 turnovers, which we'd love to be 10 or less, but 11's not too bad. The one thing I do like tonight is we out-rebounded these guys, and I think that's big. And I think that's big as we get into February, that this team, that's one of the best rebounding teams in the league. And we went toe-to-toe for them on the glass and out-rebounded them by 1. So, again, we can nitpick it to death. At the end of the day, we figured out a way to win the game. And before watching the film, I think it was definitely one of our top 3 defensive performances of the year.
Well, just my final question, but how much does Trey Clark realize that that's his type of game? Does he? He seemed to gain confidence as he gets deflections. I think he hit one of the players that he had 10 tonight. But 9 rebounds. He's just so active. This is the kind of game where it's gritty like that seems to play into his favor. And if he doesn't foul out, he already had played 24 minutes. He probably play some more.
All players like to play. And I think what's happening is Trey's really seeing that, and sometimes, I get this, and I remember the days as a player, you fall in. I used to always think this, these coaches are saying this, like if we defend and rebound, you're going to play. Well, if I'm going out there and dropping 20, I bet you I'm playing too, and guys go through that, like, is he serious? And yes, I'm serious, right? Like, if you play that hard and you're that intense and you bring that much of an edge to what we're doing, he has to be on the floor. All right, we don't win the game today without Trey Clark, period, right? And so if he plays with that intensity, people just don't like it. People just don't like it. And he's flying around and, poor guy. It's he fouls out there, and I hated it. I had to manage foul trouble. I might have played him the whole second half because I felt like he was changing the game. And there's a whole lot of things you can do to win a basketball game that doesn't show up on this white piece of paper, okay? A ton. And a lot of it is the mental and the psychological component of the game, that when he's playing that hard and he's imposing will like that, we have to have that out there because that's contagious internally for us, and it also affects the opponent. And I thought there was a direct correlation between his insertion into the game, and then if you look too, we make a run, and then he comes out for a little bit, and we kind of go floating again a little bit, and then he comes back in, and we make another run before half. You know, it's just at the end of the day, right? That's our job. We've got to put the guys out there at this particular time, and for this team, it's minute to minute. It could be media to media, but which group is helping us win the most on this particular night? And it's like the old ball coach used to say, and I'm a big fan. All right, as we all know, but the most underrated part of our job is to figure out who those ball players need to be out there. And you know, sometimes we think it's obvious, but you got to make sure, you know, as you manage it, it's key. And I made probably 6 or 7 substitutions tonight that had nothing to do with the guy coming out. It all had to do with the guy going in, and then players understanding the maturity of accepting that, right? Because we can't have 6 out there. So, you know, it's that's what's fun about this group. They roll with it, and I thought they handled that well tonight. And you know, we'll continue to make sure that we're figuring out, hey, who are we and what makes us our best. And all 7, all 8, whole team. But like I said, we've got to manage. And look, everybody. It looks to me like, I mean, Trey was the one that played the least out of the top 7 because of the foul trouble. But everybody out of the top 7 played 24 minutes. And, you know, I'm sure we've got, you know, fans all worrying about us playing 7 guys. But at the end of the day, nobody played more than 32, right? So how about that, right? And so that's 7 starters. And that's the mentality that we have to have. And, you know, 30, 25, 30, 26, 32, 24, 29. Sounds like everybody's happy to me.
Yeah, and to build off that, one of those guys who had a big night the other night is Clay Mounts. They 3-pointers to start the second half, and you turn around and trade.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, look, Clay still played 30 minutes,
right.
So it's not like he got benched or I was upset. I was upset with him. It was a 6-point game coming out of the tunnel, and we give a former top 100 player or 150, whatever it was, before he went to Notre Dame, a tee-up 3, right? And my vantage point was we were late in the gap to get to the ball, and this guy just shoots a rhythm jumper, and he came out, and I said, hey, man, I just got to have somebody in guard him. And so Trey's got to go in. And it wasn't that necessarily, oh, I'm taking Clay out. I just had to have somebody in there that could guard him. And those guys are talented now. I mean, they've got 3 high major transfers on that roster. And so they've got some talent. And, you know, not everybody's beating them at home. And so they've had some quality wins. And they've done some good things in this league. And they're going to be a tough out, you know, as we come down the stretch.
The point there was Clay knows it.
Yeah.
It's the way you guys play.
No, listen, we were all running in halftime, and the whole team's talking about what Trey's doing out there. I mean, all the players, and you know, they're bought in enough to winning to where that's not going to bog them down. We don't have selfish agenda on this team. It's all about what do we have to do to accomplish the mission, and we got to be all in it together.
There was one play in the first half